A primordial mother, a divine female who birthed the first generation of deities in Mesopotamian mythology. Tiamat is crucial to life and death. Tiamat makes up the salty waters of creation. The ocean is known for its prolific capacity to generate living organisms. Life is born from the sea. In the case of Tiamat, so are monsters. This ancient Mesopotamian goddess produced 11 different frightening beasts, from dragons to scorpion. But is Tiamat herself really all that frightening? Is the mother of monsters even a monster? I'm Dr. Emily Saga, and this is Monstrum. Much of Mesopotamian mythology attributes natural phenomena to intelligent deities. This becomes particularly significant in relation to rainfall, since the legend's earlier adoption of an irrigation agricultural system defined its success and helped secure the development of numerous large-scale permanent settlements. Due to soil conditions, land could easily become flooded and salinized, making cultivation challenging and presumably at the whim of the gods. So it makes sense that one of their central myths would evolve two primordial bodies of water, Apsu, source of all fresh water, and Tiamat, source of all salt water. Tiamat's written history begins around the second half of the second millennium BCE in the enormous Eretz, now commonly known as the Babylonian epic of creation. These cuneiform tables are the backbone of Mesopotamian mythology. Her appearance in this text is ambiguous. It reveals she is a female, but little is known. Although she is at least a somewhat humanoid, it also indicates that she is made of water. This story gets a bit confusing, so I have this family tree to help us out. The language in the text suggests that the primordial deities mingling evolved biological reproduction with Apsu as begetter and father of all, and Tiamat as the mother who birthed all from her womb. All of the original gods in the Mesopotamian pantheon are produced by these two. As their progeny in turn procreates, each god becomes more powerful than the next. Ansa and Kaisa's sons, Anu begot Ea, also known as Nudimat. Ea was the champion among his fathers, god of wisdom, magic, and water. Known for his trickery and mischief, he and the other gods amused themselves by making a racket within Tiamat's belly, where they lived. One day, Ea overhears Apsu, who we might consider his great-grandfather, complaining to Tiamat about their children and suggesting that they be killed. Horrified and angered, Tiamat refuses, suggesting they take more lenient disciplinary action, which Apsu ignores. Ea slaughters Apsu and uses his body to create a new dwelling place which is named Apsu, which is morbid AF. All of this is still in Tiamat's womb, by the way. Patricide completes, Ea has his own son Marduk, the strongest yet of the gods. Marduk is gifted with the power of the four winds and uses them to stir up flood wealth in Tiamat's womb, which is exacerbates or the other gods. In colossal act of retaliation, either motivated by revenge or insults depending on interpretation. Tiamat birthed 11 monsters into the world. Girl made an army of kids, ones with sharp teeth and poison for blood, giant serpents, dragons, and raging dragons. Apparently, there is a distinction hairy hero-men, lion-men, venom demons, snakes, scorpion-men, fishmen, brewmen, and fantastically ambiguous aggressive demons. A bit panicked by this influx of creations, the other gods grants Marduk the power to create and destroy. Ea further equips his son with the scepter, throne, staff, and the other weaponry. Marduk makes a bow, corps some winds and thunderbolts, and readies for battle. Marduk provokes Tiamat with insult, and she launches into a hasty attack, leaving herself vulnerable. She is captured in a net and overwhelmed by the winds, before Marduk's arrow pierces her stomach, tearing her open. He managed to subdue her monstrous children before returning to Tiamat, crushing her skull with the mace and slitting her adderlys open. Marduk uses one half of her dead body to form the heavens and the other to craft the earth. From her eyes, he creates the Euphrates and strikes his rivers. From her breath, he makes mountains. What is left of her becomes the oceans. He traps Tiamat's monstrous offspring at her feet and forms images of them to place at the entrance of the dwelling Apsu. To remind the world of their existence, the Tiamat story can be better understood by looking at the earlier, seemingly disparate mythologies that all blend together to create our monster mother story. Remember how Tiamat birthed 11 monsters to avenge her partner's death? Well, that number pops up in other older Mesopotamian lore, like the tale of Ninurta, an ancient Sumerian warrior god associated with agriculture who slew 11 enemies before designing the world, and two Sumerian texts from the late 3rd millennium BCE contain a list of monsters kin eerily similar to those attributed to Tiamat. And how many were there? 11. Then these are monstrous deities associated with the tumultuous sea, such as the Canaanite Jam, gender masculine he described as both as a serpent and a dragon with 7 heads, depending on the source. Able to wield chaotic power, like Tiamat, Yam was defeated by a heroic young god, Bao. Tiamat herself appears by name in an evocation as patron of the fierce warrior in a text from central Mesopotamia around 2350 BCE. Still nothing in the Canaanite or Sumerian narrative suggests Tiamat would be a monster, just a powerful god. Her great power is admired and feared, but with respectful reverence more than outright horror. A potentially monstrous god rather than strictly a monster. But what would make something a monster by Sumerian or Akkadian standards? Well, there was no singular words to categorize fearsome creatures, but their monstrosity was marked in image and text by a combination of predatory animal features like teeth, wings, and claws, visual traits that would graft onto the Tiamat in the Middle Bronze Age and 1st millennium. Marduk was once only a local god, said to preside over the city of Babylon. His mystical status grew along with the rise of Hammurabi, the 6th king of Babylon, to help solidify his control over the people of the dynasty, and eventual rule over almost all the people of Mesopotamia. The king used the Code of Hammurabi, a legal text which basically boils down to the laws of retribution. Marduk's defeat of Tiamat came to represent the installment of the real-life Babylonian king onto the throne of the victor over so-called chaos. Marduk, or Bel as he came to be known as the new national god, provide a mythological representation of good and evil, law over lawlessness, a fitting metaphor for King Hammurabi's right to rule. The myth of Tiamat and Marduk's great battle receive a retro portrayal every year at the spring agricultural festival called Akitu. In the Neo-Babylonian period, this would become a New Year celebration and last into the Hellenistic periods. After that, Tiamat's story was largely lost to time. That was until the 19th century, when the Enuma Elix was the first translated into English, giving Tiamat new prominence in popular culture. Today's modern construction of Tiamat is largely due to Canadian author and clergyman George A. Burden, whose 1893 article dubbed Tiamat compares her to biblical serpents Leviathan and the great red dragons of Revelations. Most damnably, he describes her as a female dragon, queen of a hideous host, who are hostile to the gods. He goes as far as to say that her apocalyptic image indicates the popular personification of hideousness, elegance, and evil. Even outside of the odd grabback of religious beliefs, Jude clearly has it out for the pyramidal goddess. Since then, Tiamat was commonly painted as demonic chaos, and other publications adopt a negative view of her. She becomes, even in her best life, a bad mother in the story. When Tiamat is adapted for popular culture today, she retains the evil dragon status. In Dungeons and Dragons, Tiamat is not a mother but a daughter, the offspring of the dragon's creator god Io. As the five-headed dragons, she is said to be in constant battle with her brother Bahamut. Final Fantasy also incorporates the multi-headed dragons version into their universe as well, making Tiamat one of the top level bosses. Although as the franchise continues, she lost more and more heads. If you look back at the Tiamat's 11 monster, it's possible to identify precursors to mermaids or silence, the Minotaur, Bigfoot, or even whatever this is. All the members of Tiamat's monstrous blood are meant to be frightening because of their animalistic qualities or inherent malice, unlike her other godly offspring. Her monstrous children were formed independently, adding another threatening, mysterious layer to their existence. Tiamat is both nurturer and destroyer, mother and monster, as she chooses. After all, Tiamat and every god and monstrous she birthed offers a fitting Oedipal metaphor. Fear that our creation could someday not only overshadow us but literally destroy us. I think it's a ham. Let's go back. Do you think that 11 from the Stranger Things is 11 because of this whole, like, it would be cool, right? 11 monster, that's my new theory.